So what do you see right now as the biggest challenges that people have in the medtech area?
The three that I'll start with are the ones we all know. There's the supply chain issues, there's the labor shortage, and then there's access. The pandemic created access problems for salespeople like myself. It used to be unthinkable that you wouldn't let a surgical device rep into an OR to observe a case to make sure that the surgeon, if they had any questions, they'd be answered because they had supplier support in the OR suite. Well, that's becoming more and more difficult. The pandemic really severed a lot of those last holds that salespeople had on being able to walk into hospitals and talk to their customers. And so as a result, that's made it even more difficult for suppliers to reach the buyer and sell to the buyer. So you have to become more creative and leverage more relationships and collaborate with other partners to improve your effective rate at reaching them. So that's one issue, is access. The other, the labor component, this has been an interesting and unanticipated impact, is the nurses are so busy that not only are they prioritizing the patients based on their acuity of care, but they're also prioritizing what they do for that patient based on the importance of that treatment to that acuity of care. In other words, bathing isn't necessarily important if you've got chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And if they have limited time, they're going to deal with your breathing and not your bathing. And so that's had an unanticipated impact on our business as well, where services that were expected of nurses or other caregivers in the hospital simply aren't being done now.
It reminds me of, just an aside, I grew up in Japan. And in my young years, if you went to a hospital, a city hospital, government hospital, you brought your family with to take care of you. There was no nursing staff. So you had surgery, your family came in, cooked for you, and cared for you. So ironically, it's like we've come to that point ourselves. We send them home actually early so the family can take care of them. But what you're saying is even in inpatient, we're doing fewer services.
Right. And then the other issue is with supply chain is so fractured right now that most days for a supply chain professional are spent trying to find an alternative to a product they can't get now. And so they don't have time to look at new products because all of their time is consumed just trying to find an alternative to a decision they made 2 years ago. And so all of that is just increasing the sales cycle. What used to maybe take 6 months from beginning to end might take 8 months to a year now. And then even when you get yes and they decide to use your product, you have to be prepared. It could take another 3 to 6 months to fully implement it because of the labor issues that are happening. They don't have enough people to teach a new product to. So a very difficult industry right now for several reasons.
So, I mean, those are some pretty significant challenges, right?
They are. And that's why we're seeing an uptick in companies coming to us, because we have these well-established relationships that we're bringing to the customer credibility that we've established over years, that they'll take our call and they'll listen to our value proposition and they'll tell us straight, is that something that will work or not now, but later? You know, they'll be more direct with us, and we kind of cut through a lot of that minutia quickly for companies.
Visit our website at www.startwithcollaboration.com. We're eager to help you with the challenges that you face today. There are many, and although there's challenges, there are opportunities. It's knowing how to look for them.